Okay, let's take a look now at these links. As you can see down here, they're okay. They're blue, they're readable. Up here, not so much. So we're going to add some links. And so I'm going to go here. Add a comment. Now, there are 4 states, well, 5 states for links. There is the standard state, what we're seeing right here. There is visited, which is links that you've already been to. There is hover for when you're hovering over a link. There is focus for people who are using tabs to tab their way through a page, which is like hover, only it's, doing it with tabs. And then finally, there is active. So when you click on a link, there can be a slightly different state. And all of these could have different colors. And you can go wild and crazy with this. I usually just use a couple of colors. One for the link in visited and one for the hover focus active. So let's start off with this standard links. So a link color AAA. And I'm going to also tell it to text decoration none, which removes the underline. A link color AAA, comma, text, semicolon. That would be why that was wrong. And you'll notice that my underlines have all disappeared. A visited color since all these letters are the same, it's just going to be a simple gray, a hover. And then I'm just going to copy that. Hover, focus, active. And every time it hovers, focuses are active, it'll be blue. And so we get something like that. And these do that, and that does that. Clearly, we have a problem down here with visibility. So we're going to need more than one set of links. So I'm going to do one for section. So section is a lighter background. So I'm going to copy this whole section. Come down here. And I'm going to add section, section, section. And then I'll change the colors to that and that and red. And if you look over here, I can see the letters better. And when I roll over it, I get red. Okay. And that will be true throughout the section. That's red, that's red. Okay. All right, and then down here, get that. Finally, I want to actually make these into buttons. And so I'm going to set up a set of links for nav. Okay. What I'm going to start off with is color white. I don't need this actually because that standard A link has no decoration. So I think I can also delete it from there. Color white, background color red. And then I'm going to add some padding to this item. 6 pixels. And then I'm going to add, what I want these to do is actually come out in a string. So normally these items act like they're 100% wide, no matter what width I make them. But if I tell them to, if I go up to the nav li, that's a link within a nav, I can tell it to display block, inline block, and that will actually place them next to each other like that. And I can even, that's probably enough space, but I could even margin right 6 pixels, move them a little farther apart. And you'll see right now, all it does, the background's going to stay the same color for all of these. Color red. But what I can then do for the hover, focus, and active is I can go, well, and there's an easier way to do this. So I've done every single one of them, but I can actually take the nav A visited and add a comma here and place that there. So they're all kind of condensed now into just two CSS elements. And I can leave the color aqua, but I can also add background color. Seven, 7, 7. And now if I hover over it, it does that. And I think that's still pretty readable. Or I could it might be simpler. Okay. So everything else still seems to work. Again, I could go back and condense these down the same way I condensed these, and they would still work just fine. And then what else? One other thing. If you go down here, actually, um, oh, okay. Display inline block. Hmm. Oh, because that's nav. If we have section li, we tell li adding left. Now ul adding left. Really? What's going on? Refresh live view. Huh. Okay, this is all completely bollock up. It should be padding left, needs to be a colon and a 0. And then that goes flush like that, or adding left 16 pixels, lines that up there. And then I need to look and see what's going on there. And that is indented. So then nav ul zero lines that up. I come down here. And you can see that the UL might also be included under typography instead of being under structure. I think maybe I'm going to move that down here. And I can tell this to margin bottom 8 pixels because I can't do that. Command X. LI. That gets dropped down. Now what happens up there? Not a disaster. I'll take not a disaster. So what I think you can see is that doing CSS, particularly if you're trying to keep it simple, not overwrite the code, not write a lot of things where you add it here and then you remove it there, is kind of very much like a chess game, trying to get this to work out right. And so I'm maybe spending too much time fooling around with this, but it kind of gives you an idea what has to happen.